What's the one shot in pickleball that can instantly shift the momentum of a game? It's not the serve. It's not the dink. It's the return. And yet, so many players overlook its importance. In this video, we're going to show you why mastering your return is the key to dominating on the court. You'll learn how to turn defense into offense with just one shot. By the end, you'll understand why the best players in the world focus so much on their return game. You know that feeling when you're at the baseline and your opponent's about to unleash a killer serve? Your heart starts racing, your palms get sweaty, and you're thinking, oh no, here it comes. It's a moment every pickleball player dreads, especially when you're up against someone known for their powerful serves. Here's the thing. A lot of players panic in this situation. They see that fastball coming their way and think, I've got to hit it back even harder. So they wind up and try to smash the return like it's a regular shot. But let me tell you, that approach almost never works out well. Why is this such a big problem? Well, for starters, you're likely off balance. When you're receiving a serve, if you're not in your ideal hitting position, you're toast. You're kind of just standing there, waiting to see where the ball's gonna go. Then, all of a sudden, you've got to react super fast. The ball's coming at you like a rocket. It's got a ton of speed and spin, making it really hard to control. And here you are, trying to generate even more power on top of that. I've seen so many players lose points this way, even really good ones. They get caught up in the moment, thinking they need to match power with power. But what happens? The ball goes sailing long, or it clips the top of the net and drops on your side. Or worse, they miss it completely and end up looking like they've never held a paddle before. But don't worry, there's a better way to handle those tough serves. What's important to note is that returns need a different technique altogether. You're not trying to win the point outright with your return. You're just trying to get the ball back in play and set yourself up for the next shot. Think of it like this. When you're returning a serve, you're playing defense, not offense. Your job is to neutralize that powerful serve, not to try and overpower it. It's all about control and placement, not raw power. This will set up for going on the offensive, which leads to more points. Next up, we're going to look at the right way to hit those returns. We'll talk about something called the blocking technique, which is going to be a game changer for you. Trust me, once you get this down, those power servers at open play won't seem so scary anymore. Have you ever had that moment when you're facing a serve that's coming at you so fast you can barely see it? Well, what if I told you there's a way to handle even those rocket serves without breaking a sweat? Enter the blocking technique, your new secret weapon against those power servers. Now you might be thinking, blocking? That sounds too simple. But don't be fooled. This little trick is what the pros use to neutralize those killer serves you see in tournaments. The blocking technique is all about control, not power. At first, it might feel like you're not doing enough. You might even be tempted to take a big swing. But trust me, that's not what you want to do here. Here's how it works. You keep your swing short and compact, almost like you're just putting your paddle in the way of the ball. It's like you're saying to the ball, hey, I'm just going to stand here and let you do all the work. And that's exactly what you're doing. The key is to let the serve's speed do most of the work for you. When you're using the blocking technique, you want to maintain a low base and a stable stance. This stability is super important because it helps you counteract the force of those powerful serves. It's like you're planting your feet and saying, bring it on. This stable position gives you better control and accuracy in your returns. Now here's a pro tip. When you're executing the blocking technique, try to hit the ball on your front foot. This helps you maintain momentum and ensures a deeper return. Plus, it sets you up to transition quickly to the kitchen after the return. You want to be in a position where you can move forward right after you hit that return. You need to practice this a lot to get it right, but once you do, it's a game changer. A great way to practice is with a partner who can hit hard serves at you. Focus on keeping your returns deep and low. If you don't have a partner, you can even use wall drills to improve your reaction time and control against fast shots. Here's the payoff. Using this blocking technique, you can return those hard serves deep and low, giving you time to get to the kitchen. It's like you're turning your opponent's power against them. They thought they had you on the defensive, but now you're the one in control. Remember, The blocking technique is particularly effective when you're positioned a few feet behind the baseline. This gives you room to move forward into the shot and maintain control over your returns. It's all about giving yourself that extra split second to react. You know how some players always seem to hit perfect returns, no matter how hard the serve comes at them? Well, it's not just luck or superhuman reflexes. They're using a secret weapon I like to call the 3 Ts. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, great, another set of fancy techniques to remember. But trust me, once you get these down, your return game is going to be on a whole new level. Let's start with the first T, target. This one's pretty straightforward, but it's super important. When you're returning a serve, you want to aim deep, preferably right at your opponent's feet. Why? Well, it's all about making their life difficult. A deep return forces them to hit a more challenging third shot. Plus, it gives you more time to get ready for whatever they throw back at you. And here's a little bonus. Aiming deep actually increases your margin for error. So even if you don't hit it perfectly, you're still in good shape. Now let's talk about the second T, technique. Remember that blocking motion we talked about earlier? That's going to come in handy here. The key is to keep your swing compact. You don't need to try and generate a ton of power on your own. Use what your opponent's giving you. Their serve is already coming in hot, so let it do the work for you. Focus on control and accuracy instead. You want to keep your return flat, matching the path of the incoming ball. This will help you stay consistent and keep your opponent guessing. The third T is probably the trickiest, but it's crucial: timing. You need to nail that split step just as your opponent hits the serve. This is what's going to keep you balanced and ready to move in any direction. If you're early or late with your split step, you're going to be scrambling to get in position. But when you time it just right, you'll be set up perfectly to execute that blocking technique we talked about. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's great and all, but how do I actually practice this stuff? Well, I've got you covered. One drill I love is dividing the court into sections and assigning points based on how deep your returns land. Not only does this help you work on your targeting, but it also gets you moving toward the kitchen after each shot, just like you would in a real game. Here's the really cool part. When you put all 3 Ts together, your returns become a real weapon. You're not just getting the ball back over the net anymore. You're putting pressure on your opponent right from the start. Think about it. You're returning their serve deep to their feet, forcing them to backpedal and disrupting their rhythm. Suddenly, you're the one in control of the point. So you've got the 3 Ts down. But what if your opponent starts mixing up their serves? That's where the real magic happens. The pros have a secret weapon that separates the good returners from the great ones. It's all about adaptability. Think about it. Every serve coming at you is like a snowflake. No two are exactly alike. You've got different speeds, spins, and placements to deal with. If you're using the same return every single time, you're basically handing your opponent a cheat sheet on how to beat you. That's why you need to learn how to read the serve as it's coming at you. Here's the deal. When that ball's flying towards you, you've got to be like a detective. Is it a hard, flat serve that's going to zoom past you? Or maybe it's got some nasty spin that'll make it dip at the last second? Is it short and sneaky? Or is it deep and trying to push you back? These are the questions you need to answer in a split second. But here's the cool part. Once you figure out what kind of serve you're dealing with, you can adjust your return and turn it into your advantage. It's like having a whole toolkit of returns, and you're picking the right tool for the job every time. Let's break it down. If you're up against a player with a killer third shot drive, you might want to aim your return at their weaker side, or even at their feet. This makes it way harder for them to set up that powerful third shot. There's a reason why top players like Ben and Colin Johns often return to Riley Newman's side. They're trying to keep him back because he's so good at crashing the net. Now, when it comes to actually hitting that return, remember that it's crucial to keep things compact. Don't go swinging for the fences with your arms. Instead, use your lower body for power. This gives you way more control and consistency, especially when you're dealing with those lightning-fast serves. Here's a pro tip. If you want to get better at reading serves, try practicing against a wall. You can mix up the speed and angle of your shots to simulate different types of serves. It's a great way to improve your reaction time and get more adaptable on the court. Another thing that's super important is the split step. You want to do this just before the server makes contact with the ball. It keeps you balanced and ready to move in any direction, which is crucial for reading and responding to all those different serves. Keep in mind, not every serve is going to be a screamer. If you get a high, slow serve, don't just slap it back. Be intentional about it. Use those legs to generate some power, keep that swing compact, and focus on getting a deep return. Remember, you're not just trying to get the ball back, you're setting yourself up to dominate the point. Well, now it's time to put it all together. Remember, a great return isn't just about getting the ball back over the net, it's about setting yourself up to dominate the point from the get-go. That's where the 3 T's come in handy: target, technique, and timing. These aren't just fancy words. They're your secret weapons on the court. Here's a drill you can try. Split the court into 3 sections and aim to hit deep returns into each one. It's not just about accuracy, it's about making your opponent's life difficult. By hitting deep, you're forcing them to make a tough third shot. And trust me, that's exactly where you want them. On the back foot, scrambling to keep up. Next time you're out there, don't just focus on getting the serve back. Think about where you're hitting it, how you're hitting it, and when you're moving to hit it. It might feel a bit overwhelming at first, but stick with it. Before you know it, you'll be the one everyone's trying to avoid serving to. Now that's a game changer. Before you go, there are a multitude of things that could be holding you back from leveling up your game. Some are incredibly easy to fix. Check out my video, Common Pickleball Mistakes. Avoid these immediately to help you become more effective on the court. Thanks for watching.